homage to the Director of Ceremonies. Allow me to recognize the Honorable Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services. Let me also recognize the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Mr. Rick Mangwana, and Dr. Minister, Dr. Mufere, we want to recognize you. Let me also recognize our guest of honor, recognize partners, sponsors. Let me recognize journalists in our midst, media practitioners. And let me say all protocol is observed. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a very good evening to you all, distinguished guests, esteemed journalists, and honored award recipients at this year's National Journalism and Media Awards. On behalf of the Zimbabwe Union of Journalists, and indeed on behalf of myself, this is the President's speech, so I'm reading it as it is. On behalf of myself, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to our prestigious Annual Journalist Merit Awards, the National Journalism and Media Awards, NJAMA. Tonight we gather to celebrate the exceptional talent, dedication, and unwavering commitment by journalists who have made a significant impact in the field of information dissemination. In an era where information flows ceaselessly, journalists play a crucial role in disseminating news, uncovering truths, and holding those in power accountable. They are the storytellers who shed light on both the triumphs and challenges of our society, driving progress and shaping our collective understanding of critical national and world discourse. Our theme this year demands that we collectively reflect on how the media can be used as a tool to empower marginalized voices, how to navigate gender dynamics, and how to harvest artificial intelligence in the advancement of journalism and media work. It is imperative that we actively work towards creating an inclusive environment for all individuals to express themselves freely. Furthermore, we must also address the underlying gender dynamics that perpetuate marginalization. It is crucial to challenge societal norms, stereotypes, and biases that limit the opportunities for women and other marginalized groups. By promoting gender equality and diversity, we can create an environment where everyone's voice is valued and respected. We can create safe working media spaces for young girls and women, both off and online, both as practitioners and sources of news. Marginalized voices often face numerous challenges. Their experiences are often overshadowed, and their perspectives are rarely given the platform they deserve. It is our responsibility as the media to change this narrative. Empowering marginalized voices means providing them with the tools, resources, and opportunities to share their stories without fear of judgment or exclusion. And in this digital age, where technology plays a significant role, the media must also explore AI-driven journalism. Artificial intelligence has the potential to revolutionize the way we gather, collect, package, and consume news and information. In actual fact, this is no longer a figment, but we are experiencing and living through that revolution. By using natural language processing and machine learning, artificial intelligence can help identify and elevate diverse voices that have traditionally been underrepresented. It can help break down the barriers that prevent marginalized individuals from being heard. However, journalists need to take heed of ethical and responsible use of AI. Artificial intelligence is double-edged or a double-edged sword, which actually is also helping the spread of misinformation and disinformation. This then raises the need for journalists to do fact-checking and verify information before publishing. As writers, we have the power to shape narratives and influence perspectives. By embracing inclusive language, diverse storytelling techniques, and empathy, we can create a safe and inclusive space for marginalized voices to flourish. Ladies and gentlemen, I would not have done justice if I do not mention the welfare of journalists. Journalists in Zimbabwe are earning salaries below the poverty data line, and do not get salaries on time sometimes. They are living a life of penury, hence the rise in unethical practices like taking bribes. The working conditions of journalists also leave a lot to be desired. Either they are harassed, assaulted, or roughed up by the authorities and powerful individuals. We call for a stop to that. Journalism is not a crime. This is affecting the quality of news that audiences get. We urge the government, as the Zimbabwe Union of Journalists, to help media stakeholders like ZUJ to establish a National Employment Council for journalists, which will gazette the minimum or decide on the minimum salary for every scribe in the country. This is and has become an existential threat to the profession itself. The establishment of a National Employment Council is needed like yesterday. However, publishers are refusing to play ball, and they have developed some lethargy and cold feet. We implore government to take the publishers to the negotiating table with ZUJ and other stakeholders, and help us in the setting up of a National Employment Council for the media. We are also calling on the government to come up with non-monetary incentives for the media sector, like flexible housing schemes and duty waiver on tools of the trade, equipment such as cameras and broadcasting equipment. Ladies and gentlemen, there is the issue of regulation of the media, which has been contentious recently. While government is calling and has agreed to a compromise position of co-regulation of the media, we as a sector would like and have been calling for self-regulation, but we have agreed with the government that we will go for co-regulation. Just like what lawyers, doctors, and other professions do, regulate themselves. Journalists want their own exclusive media council with delegated powers from the Zimbabwe Media Commission. We do not want to be banded together with other media actors who do not follow ethical considerations. We want our own council with our own code of ethics so that we professionalize the profession. Outsiders who do not have professional journalism training are tainting the whole profession. There should be a clear distinction between a citizen journalist and a professional journalist. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we recognize and honor the tireless efforts of journalists and media practitioners who have gone above and beyond, often risking their own safety to bring us the stories that matter. Each award recipient here tonight has demonstrated exceptional journalistic integrity, relentless pursuit of the truth, and a deep sense of responsibility towards their craft. Their stories have moved us, informed us, and inspired us. They have given voice to the voiceless, exposed the injustice, and sparked the conversations that have the power to drive meaningful change. In an era where journalism faces numerous challenges, their unwavering commitment to the truth serves as a beacon of hope and resilience. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to take this moment to express our deepest gratitude as the Zimbabwe Union of Journalists to our sponsors, without whom this event would not have been possible. Your unwavering support for professional journalism and the recognition of its vital role in our society is truly commendable. And to the journalists present here tonight, I encourage you to continue your incredible work. You must understand that your words hold immense power, and with that power comes great responsibility in nation building. Keep asking the tough questions, pursuing the truth fearlessly, and shining a light in the darkest corners. Your dedication to the pursuit of journalism serves as an inspiration to all of us. I will at this juncture congratulate all those who will be recognized and rewarded for your excellency and professionalism, and say to you, continue the good work and be an inspiration to our profession and the nation at large. As we recognize your exceptional journalistic work, we also implore you to continue to be beacons of professionalism and change narratives. Once again, I extend my warmest welcome to each and every one of you. May tonight's celebrations be a testament to the incredible achievements of our journalists and a reminder of the indomitable spirit of journalism itself. Lastly, I would want to thank the Ministry of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Service for opening the doors for us to dialogue and engage on issues that concern us as practitioners, for opening up the door to allow us to engage on media law reform, on improving the conditions of our journalists and our media practitioners. For that, we want to say kudos to the ministry. May those doors continue to be opened, and may your ears continue to be opened as well, and to listen to what the industry is calling for. I want to thank you.
Thank you very much, Secretary General of the Zimbabwe Union of Journalists, stepping in for the Zulu President, Mr. George Mabonga. Thank you so much, SG Perfect Florani. You rightly say that a good journalist is not the one that writes what people say. And a good journalist is the one who writes what he is supposed to write. Thank you very much for those wise words. And obviously, we cannot be able to do all this on our own as the Zimbabwe Union of Journalists. But obviously, with the help of others, we'll be able to come together. No man is an island unto himself. You always need other people to come through and help you. And with that, let me at this point in time to call upon Swedish Ambassador, His Excellency, the Prime Minister, to come and give us his remarks on the Swedish support to the media sector in Zimbabwe. A big round of applause for His Excellency.
The Honorable Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, the Permanent Secretary of the same Ministry, the Ambassador of Palestine, UN representatives here present, all journalists that are with us here this evening, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Let me start by saying that I'm happy to be with you here tonight to acknowledge and celebrate the talent, commitment, and dedication of the Zimbabwean journalists. Allow me to express my thanks to the international media support and Zimbabwe Union of Journalists for organizing this event. We commend your dedication and unwavering commitment to upholding the values of transparency, accountability, and integrity in journalism. As we gather here tonight to celebrate your achievements, I would like to invite everyone to pay tribute to all journalists and media workers across the world who have been targets of intimidation, violence, arbitrary detention, or who, in some extreme cases, have been killed while exercising their profession. According to the Committee of Protect Journalists, and as we saw on the screen earlier, 128 journalists and media workers were confirmed killed in the Middle East since the conflict started about a year ago. May their souls rest in peace. Let me commend all of you for your unwavering dedication. Despite the many challenges and threats you face, you have not wavered. You have persevered in your profession with admirable commitment. In an age of both mass information and misinformation, the role of journalists is now more important than ever. Our societies rely on the core values of journalism, truthfulness and objectivity to stay informed and to shape opinions. Journalists consistently demonstrate their essential function in influencing our society by elevating the voices of the underrepresented, ensuring accountability among those in power, and revealing significant issues that require our focus. Your commitment to uncovering the truth, the ability to motivate transformation, initiate conversations, and promote advancement is most appreciated. Let me reiterate Sweden's unwavering commitment to supporting access to information, press freedom, and initiatives to uphold the highest standards of journalistic integrity. We remain dedicated to safeguarding the vital role the media plays in our society, ensuring it continues to serve as a cornerstone of democracy and transparency. Sweden believes that media serves as a conduit of truth, navigating the complexities of the world to deliver news that empowers and enlightens the people. Sweden is proud to support some of the journalist awards tonight and to stand with you in your journey to make Zimbabwe an even better, more transparent and just country. I extend my heartfelt congratulations to all the nominees and winners of the National Journalist and Media Awards. Your exceptional work stands as a testament to the vital role journalists plays in shaping our society. I also offer my sincere thanks and congratulations to the news teams behind the nominated stories. Your dedication to uncovering the truth and sharing impactful narratives continues to inspire and elevate the standards of the profession. Your talent, commitment, and remarkable resilience are a beacon of hope in a constantly evolving world. I appreciate your invaluable contributions, and I hope that your efforts will persist in paving the way for a brighter and more equitable future for everyone. I wish you all the very best in your important work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Swedish Ambassador, His Excellency, a fairly event on the Swedish support to the media sector in Zimbabwe. Thank you so much. One writer called Isabel Allende once wrote, as a journalist you need to write what should not be forgotten. That's what you need to do as a journalist. In everything that you do, always do everything to perfection, so that even when you are wrong, you leave a mark of excellence in everything that you do. Let me at this point in time to call upon our special guest, Honorable Dr. Jennifer Muswe, our Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services. Let's all put our hands together for our special guest. As you will be back again to talk to us as we are celebrating this moment, NJAMA 2023-2024. The theme: empowering marginalized voices, navigating gender dynamics, and harnessing artificial intelligence-driven journalism. Honorable Minister, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Director of Ceremonies. The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Comrade Big Mangwana, the ambassadors from Sweden, Palestine, and many other ambassadors who may be here present, members of Parliament, here present, senators, United Nations, resident representatives, directors, senior government officials, members of the fourth estate, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends. It is with great honor that I've also been given an opportunity today as we celebrate an award giving ceremony and a program which seeks to recognize different categories and individuals who have excelled and done extremely well in the course of public and private duty to try to inform, raise awareness, to educate the people of Zimbabwe, and also to ensure that with information ubiquity across the country. I've spoken about this subject a number of times, and in this particular case, I've always indicated that the Stone Age did not come to an end because there was a shortage of stones. At some point, individuals decided to innovate, and the use of artificial intelligence, the use of many other new technologies should be harnessed and harmonized as members of the fourth estate undertake their responsibilities and duties in the course of journalism. Access to information is guaranteed in terms of the Constitution of Zimbabwe and also in terms of the Freedom of Information Act. But what we need to think about is how best we can harmonize homegrown solutions in order to inculcate ownership in terms of the growth of the media industry. Yes, the print media is going down to a plus circulation in terms of 100,000 to 200,000 copies per day in terms of circulation, to less than 10,000 copies in terms of circulation. So this gives us an opportunity to utilize artificial intelligence, to use online platforms, to utilize information science, to utilize voice algorithms. But what is of critical importance, one of the key fundamentals that drive the media industry is the advertising. It is the marketing aspect. And with the advent of the fourth industrial revolution, and the coming on board of social media platforms. Big institutions, corporates are now advertising and marketing their products on social media platforms. So it is incumbent upon members of the fourth estate, media practitioners, and media houses to work together to find a way on how best we can harness social media platforms. Because of great importance is that we are now facing another new threat in form of social media imperialism. We now face another challenge in terms of cultural imperialism. Our values, our heritage, our identity as a people, through the advent of social media platforms which alter geographical boundaries and perimeters, do journalists still own their stories? Do they have control in terms of ownership? Do journalists' importance to generate, to produce, to articulate issues have dominance in terms of the national narrative, or the national narrative has been lost to social media platforms? Data broadband is the new oil. If you analyze the number of times and the hours that each and every citizen in the world consumes in terms of attention to the phone, it is more than the time that they read the newspaper or watch the television. So what is of great importance now is that we have to adopt or we die as an industry. Government is committed to ensuring that the rights of journalists and the protection of their sources is strengthened and consolidated. And as government, our door remains open to invite members of the media fraternity, the producers, the owners of the industry, be it in public and private sector, for us to expedite the implementation in terms of the creation of the National Employment Council, so that we can guarantee income for members of the media fraternity. It is very important for us as a people to ensure that as we write, as we generate stories, we take into consideration the welfare of members of the media fraternity. The business of brown envelopes has to come to an end. The business of aiding cultural imperialism should come to an end. The business of scandalizing nations unethically without checking and verifying facts has to come to an end if journalism is to survive as a profession. And in the second term of the new dispensation, we have a number of proposals in terms of legislation and also in terms of policy interventions. Part of the legislative agenda, which was outlined by His Excellency the President, Dr. Idi Mnangagwa, also includes the Broadcasting Services Amendment Bill, which is now within this quarter going to the Parliament of Zimbabwe. We also proposed to amend the Zimbabwe Media Authority legislation in order to support the independence of the Zimbabwe Media Commission as an institution, but at the same time to develop the Media Practitioners Bill. The principles have already been approved by Cabinet, and now there is need for us to work together through a stakeholders approach. This week, our Permanent Secretary had a discussion which he led, where all members of the fourth estate, different media houses, and different categories in terms of the stratification of the media sector, where we sought to appreciate and understand how best we can enrich the Media Practitioners Bill, which is a bill we believe will professionalize, protect, and defend the integrity of journalists. We believe, given the positive success stories that we have achieved in the new dispensation, be it structural and governance reforms that have taken place, investment promotion, macroeconomic growth and stability that has been achieved, fiscal consolidation, infrastructural development, which includes now a number of 10,600 dams, the irrigation conference facilities, the capacitation of the agricultural sector, the growth of the mining industry from less than 3 billion to plus 13 billion, the growth of the GDP and the formalization of the economy, the monetary policy interventions that the new republic, the second republic, has managed to undertake in order to uplift millions of people and to alleviate poverty in our country. But not only have you achieved as a country to uplift and to improve the standard of living for our people, we've also managed to create quite a number of new millionaires in our country. And we've also added positively to the growth of our economy. Such fundamental interventions from the legislative front, be it ZIDA as a one-stop institution, in order to ease the way of doing business in our country, to the way we have worked together with the media industry in order to fight a number of negative aspects related to the health sector, including the way we work together to raise awareness on the COVID pandemic. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, as a number of journalists receive awards tonight, it is very important that members of the fourth estate own the narrative. It is very important for members of the fourth estate to focus on national development. It is also very important for members of the fourth estate to report about the evils in the society. But it is also not very important for members of the fourth estate to scandalize your country. It is very important for us to work together to seek information, to verify facts before publication. And I want to commend members of the fourth estate for having worked together with us in government in order to raise awareness, to inform, and to educate the majority of our people. But the utilization of new technology, the utilization of algorithms, and homegrown algorithms in artificial intelligence, information science, has to be supported through journalism. And we have to find a way to harmonize and fuse these two. I want to thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, Dr. Jessica Muswere, the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services. Thank you very much. We truly appreciate the moment we had from your words. I've just been informed that he's a busy man, but Honorable Minister, thank you so much for taking time to be with us here tonight. I know you're always busy, you've got other commitments. Just been informed from your office that you have another commitment that you need to attend in your office. Thank you very much for being with us. We may all stand up as we give them a big round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. We may take our seats. Thank you very much. As we continue with our program, we would also like to acknowledge within this place tonight with us, UNFPA country representative Ms. Miranda Tabifo. Thank you very much for being with us, as well as thank you. As well as United Nations Women Representative Ms. Fatou Ndo. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate it. At this point in time, let me call upon our guest of honor for tonight, Dr. Ayodele Odusola, UN resident and humanitarian coordinator at Israel and UNVP resident representative. Doctor, thank you so much and you're welcome.
Excellencies and distinguished guests, and the Honorable Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, as well as the Permanent Ministry of the same, Permanent Secretary of the same ministry. And I want to really start by acknowledging our host, the executives of this particular noble association, the National Journalism. And I want to also recognize the Honorable, I don't know if the person is here now, the Honorable Chief Charumbira, the President of Pan-African Parliament, all the senior government officials that are here, His Excellency Per Lingard, the Ambassador of Sweden to Zimbabwe, also His Excellency Ambassador Tana Al-Mazari, the Ambassador of Palestine to Zimbabwe. And also specifically Mr. George Makonga, the President of Zimbabwe Union of Journalists, and Mr. Perfect Hilongwane, the Secretary General of the Zimbabwe of Journalists. My dear colleagues from the United Nations system, you have the two head of agencies that are here, the head of the country director of UNFPA, as well as United Nations Women Organization, UN Women. The member of media fraternity, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to represent Mr. Edward Callum, the resident and coordinator, as well as humanitarian coordinator for Zimbabwe, who is not here. I'm just acting in that capacity, but I am the United Nations Development Program resident representative for Zimbabwe. It is an immense honor to address you today at the 2023-2024 National Journalism and Media Awards. This esteemed gathering is a celebration of the dedication and resilience of Zimbabwean journalists who uphold the tenets of truth, integrity, and courage despite series of challenges. Today, we honor not only the accomplishments of this past year, but also the persistent spirit that underlies your profession. The United Nations has long been a platform of addressing complex global challenges, ranging from poverty eradication to dealing with climate actions, accelerating quality of education, health, and promotion of human rights, as well as promoting sustainable peace. In Zimbabwe, as well as elsewhere, the media serves as a critical partner in advancing these efforts, holding institutions accountable and informing the public. The media's role in promoting the Sustainable Development Goals is very vital. In fact, without the media, it would have been difficult for the ideals and the principles of Sustainable Development Goal to have been more or less a household name in Zimbabwe and the rest of Africa and the world. By shaping the public opinion, championing democracy and governance, and fostering national as well as global discourse, the media has helped to set the development agenda. And I want to really also underscore the fact that when we're doing the negotiation of the Sustainable Development Goals, the media played a very, very strong role, which I particularly really had the opportunity of interacting with when I was in New York. It is on the basis of the integrity and the confidence the public reposed in the media that gave them that particular opportunity to influence global development agenda. I want to underline that what we've been doing aligns with the UN mission in Zimbabwe, where we collaborate across various sectors, including media, to support national development through the Zimbabwe UN Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework 2022 to 2026. This partnership channels about $500 million annually to support initiatives focused on people, planet, prosperity, and peace. Amidst Zimbabwe's economic and social challenges, there exists a wealth of stories about the resilience and innovation that needs to be told. I have witnessed young minds of ICT hubs developing groundbreaking technologies, women entrepreneurship, and farmers gaining access through minimal resources. Yet, much of the narratives in our press remains centered on political sensationalism. It is crucial for the media to pivot towards covering these stories of hope and achievement. I've heard the Minister of Information saying that we have to make sure that the information we carry about our country is accurate and factual. I think he's really right. And I'm saying this because in my local language, there is a saying that says, if you sell your family very cheap, you will buy it back very expensively. Meaning, when we carry negative stories about our countries that are not based on facts and evidence, it is difficult to redeem. And the impact will fall on everyone, irrespective of the profession you belong to. On this note, I encourage you as key members of the media to enhance your involvement in Zimbabwe's development story. Focus on highlighting communities and empowering all citizens, especially women and youth, as they shape the future of their nation. The UN is committed to supporting you in these efforts, providing capacity building, extensive content and access to expertise that fosters accurate and constructive journalism. To that end, from 18th to 22nd November 2024, I'm pleased to inform you that the UN will hold a media seminar which will include field visits to UN-supported development programs across the country. Unfortunately, because of time limitation, you may not have the opportunity to go to all the 10 provinces, but at least you've seen some of them. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I just want to use this opportunity to acknowledge some of the media that were able to make it to Akwata about 2 or 3 weeks ago, where the United Nations system in Zimbabwe working with the UK government as well as the Ministry of Energy and Power Development, was able to take what they called 200 kilowatt peak solar system to one of the most marginalized and remote communities in the country, in Chabata, with the opportunity of providing 12,500 people electricity. This is what I consider to be something that is really very, very important. And I strongly believe that with your support, we'll be able to do more as United Nations system here in Zimbabwe. This year's theme, Empowering Marginalized Voices, Navigating Gender Dynamics, and Harnessing AI-driven journalism, is particularly impressive and very important. It underscores the responsibility of journalists to evaluate underrepresented voices and also tackle gender disparities. As highlighted in a number of initiatives that have been taken by many regional entities like African Union and SADC, protocols on gender and development, the media must challenge existing stereotypes and advocate for equity. This is something that is really very important. I remember quite well when I was still the resident representative in South Africa. We published something on bystanders, on gender inequality and women empowerment. Because at any point in time you see something that is not good, but you keep quiet, you are part of the entire process. So, as journalists and media, we believe you are a veritable tool and a veritable change agent in advancing gender equality and ensuring that there is fairness across the society. Moreover, the advent of artificial intelligence in journalism offers new avenues for innovation. While AI can streamline tasks and reveal insights, it is imperative that its integration adheres to ethical standards and serves the public good, aligning with the United Nations Global Digital Compact principles. Also, it reminds me the opportunity in 2022 where we worked with South African Independent Electoral Commission, with all electoral bodies in Africa and media organizations across the continent. The theme was social media and electoral integrity in Africa. How do we use social media to really deal with misinformation and disinformation, not only about election, but about all facets of human endeavors. So this is one of the things which we consider to be really very, very important. And also, UNESCO is also working with Institute of Global Dialogue, as well as University of South Africa, to really see how we can use artificial intelligence to shape the future of journalism. This is something that is really very important, and there are so many other United Nations agencies in Zimbabwe that are also working in the area of artificial intelligence. And we are of the view that the theme you have selected for this year is very apt, and for us to be thinking about the future of journalism, it will be very difficult for us to forget about artificial intelligence. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, despite ongoing pressures, the media landscape in Zimbabwe has evolved, embracing the digital age and its opportunities. Yet, challenges such as misinformation and financial constraints endure. A free and independent press is vital for democracy and sustainable progress, as noted in Windows Declaration. The United Nations pledges continued support to ensure robust and development-driven media environment. And I can speak on behalf of all the heads of agencies of United Nations development system that operate in Zimbabwe, that we are committed to support you. To support you in the area of capacity building and in the area of making sure you have some of the evidence that is needed across the various sectors of the economy of Zimbabwe. And also to help you showcase the good practices, because at times we're too hard on ourselves. There are so many good practices in Zimbabwe that we as United Nations agencies need to showcase to the rest of the world as part of good practices to be documented for other countries to learn from. And if there are opportunities for media practitioners in Zimbabwe to learn from other parts of the world, the doors is open for you to let us know and how we can support you on the basis of what is available. As we look forward, let us commit to ethical journalism, fostering inclusivity and accountability. Let us leverage AI responsibly and keep striving to uphold the standards of truth and integrity that defines our shared mission. Finally, let us celebrate incredible achievement of Zimbabwe journalists. I just want to really congratulate you on this year's award winner and encourage many more to lead with stories of development and impact. I want to take this opportunity also to thank you for unwavering dedication to information and inspiration, which you have given to many people, even unknowingly. Together, we can build a resilient, ethical, and inclusive media landscape. The United Nations in Zimbabwe stands ready to work with Zimbabwe Union of Journalists and other media associations and media outfits to build media capacity, as well as work to make Zimbabwe as best destination for investment and tourism. This evening, as we honor the winners, let's remember that we are all victors as we celebrate media and journalism in Zimbabwe. And I want to use this opportunity to say, having seen the video you have shown, where we have more than 10 journalists dying in 1 year, I think it's really, really challenging. And we're with you, and will not let the spirit of those that have lost their life in the process of discharging their professionalism to die in vain. And on this note, we commend you, and we say we will continue to do our best to support journalism in Zimbabwe. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, United Nations President and Humanitarian Coordinator and Interim and UNDP Resident Representative. Thank you very much. At this point in time, let me take this opportunity before we go for our dinner to acknowledge our sponsors in no particular order. Would like to give a big thank you to International Media Support, IMS, Swedish Embassy, MultiChoice Zimbabwe, Siemens Health Group, Zenecta, EMA, Delta Corporation, Tonga Unit, Doves, Zimplats, Zera, Zimswitch, UNFPA, Palestinian Embassy, Internews, Zinara, Potras, Rainbow Tourism Group, Mashwede Holdings, Zimpepers, Zimbabwe Union of Journalists, Mazikidze Attorneys, Gauss, Schweppes Holdings Africa Limited. Last but not the least, we are not the biggest, but we are the best of the best. Since 1961, we are bottom makers. Thank you very much. And out of the capital of 100.4 FM. We appreciate. At this point in time, in our local language, we say, for us to be a family, we unite through the same plates, through the same pots where the food has come from. So at this point in time, our dinner will be served, and I will be asking our guest of honor and his table to be our first to be served our dinner tonight. And we will be following up using the numbers on our tables. Thank you. We will be having some music as we enjoy our dinner. Thank you. Enjoy.
Two saving points. So when table number 1 goes to the other side, table number 2 will go to the other side, and we alternate as we get our dinner. So table number 2, you are free to come, and you go to the left side. Can you all put our hands together for Mr. Kahlia? Thank
Good evening, and thank you, Master of Ceremonies. I'll write on the already presented protocols. I think in the next 10 minutes, I'll just give you the judge's report, which is an abridged version of the longer report that we are going to present to Zuj, which I'm sure they will share with media houses about our observations this year. We went through 29 categories and went through about 270 entries that came from media houses. I've put up the just that sheet there so that you can see which media houses entered and what happened there. I think we had quite dominant entries from 2 media houses, Zim Papers and Alpha Media Holdings. With Zim Papers having the largest number of entries for all its publications, radio and televisions, followed by Alpha Media Holdings, mainly in the print sector. You will see that other than those 2, the only other double-digit number of entries that we have there came from freelancers. Most of the media houses represented here in this country, they have very, very minimal entries, surprisingly.
the ANZ table, which we thought would bring in quite a number of entries, did not bring in many entries. We only had 3 entries that were from the Financial Gazette. That being said, I just want to comment on critical issues that we observed as judges. I will start with the not so good observations that we saw as judges. I think the decision to enter for National Media Awards is a bold statement that this is the best that we have produced for the year. So we expected to see great entries from each one of those who decided to enter. But we were a bit taken aback with some of the entries that we came across that constitute almost 40% of the entries that we saw were a bit on the disappointing side. Some of them, to be frank, did not even deserve to be published at all, let alone submitted for national awards. These are entries which included reports based on press releases, a press release that everyone got, and we produced stories from press releases, official pronouncements. All this came to us without any value addition from the reporter. No context, no background, no statistics, no further probing of officials to get more information. I think also included in this classification of disappointing entries were stories crying for quality control. Journalists submitted stories, some of them with very, very good ideas, but these were ravaged by poor writing skills, and in many instances, there was very little editorial intervention to make sure that, journalists get assistance to produce better content. And I think it's important for me to say at this juncture that editors, and especially duty editors, I've been one in my long career as a journalist, they have a big role to help journalists to improve on their copy, and sometimes to just make sure that they've asked the wrong questions to news sources. I want to look at the good parts now and just comment on a number of categories. I think one of the things that we observed last year was the poor number of entries in the data journalism category and multimedia journalist categories. There was a slight improvement this year, but still not very, very good in terms of number of entries. But the winning entries in most categories we identified, we did so with ease. There was unanimity among the panelists due to the good quality of enterprise journalism that we started to see in a number of stories. This was not present last year, but we saw journalists doing a bit of in-depth writing. There was an attempt to research. There was an attempt to give context to stories. And very, very importantly to us, journalists, especially the 3 top stories that we identified, went to the basics of having a use for stories. And as we go through the entries and looking at the winners, you will see that the winning stories for this year are not the sort of huge investigative stories, but these are stories that resonate with how we live. These are stories that showed that the journalist had his eyes or their eyes open when doing the particular story. I want to also share an observation that we get. That categories such as photography, news reporting, business, finance, gender and social inclusion, investigative journalism, environment, and climate change, they're very, very good entries. And I want to commend journalists who entered in those categories that will produce very, very good stuff that challenged us as the judges. Drought was a key theme weaving through most categories. So you see in business, there was a drought story. Gender and social inclusion, there were drought stories, environment, climate change, all these categories, a drought story. But we also observed that journalists did not know where to place their stories in most instances. And stories were placed randomly, sometimes in 3 or 4 categories. You see one story featuring in 3 or so categories. I'm sure journalists were trying their luck there to see perhaps they'll get traction somewhere. Entries in the broadcast category were better packaged compared to last year. We had good visual presentation, we had good vocals, voice projections, good narration of the story. But we also observed a disappointing trend where digital journalists trying their luck in broadcasting still have a long way to go. For those who entered as digital journalists who entered in the broadcasting category, I want you to look at the winning entry and compare that with what we did. You'll see the gulf there. And I think there's still quite a long way to go in that area. Multimedia journalism had very few entries, and the work was generally of low quality. I failed to answer the basic questions of being able to present a story in multiple forms and being able to post that story on multiple platforms. Let me comment on data journalism, as I said, which was very disappointing last year. This year we had good entries and exceptional ones as well. Especially the winner in this category has really mastered the game, as these stories and other stories entered by the same journalists in other categories showed the ability of the journalist to mainstream data journalism. He's not afraid to express himself using stats, anecdotal information, research data, and his own extrapolation of figures. Those other stories in that category, I think we're a bit way behind compared to the winning entry. We were attracted to practitioners' ability to create valuable content from soft images. And the winning entry, especially in business, in news reporting, stood out. The journalist who won the category of News Reporter of the Year saw a story that I'm sure most reporters also saw, but did not believe that it was a story. The writer or the broadcaster decided to look at the ODT and turned it into a work of art. I'm sure at some point we will get a chance to view the footage and the broadcast story. There was bright content in the gender and social inclusion sector, and a very competitive category where we had quite a number of entries. Let me use this category to illustrate what I said earlier about editorial intervention to stories. There were 3 very good entries that we picked out, and we put them on the table for a while, grappling with which one is the better story. Because they were all 3 very, very good stories. But we were taken aback by one of the stories of the 3, where a reporter went out, identifies a very, very good subject of a female chief who has been on the throne for 67 years. She became a chief during the colonial era. She's still there. But this story did not win the category, unfortunately. Why? We are not sure why the reporter did not really interview this chief to find out how she became a chief. What has it been like to be a chief during the colonial era and post-independence period? What big issues does she deal with? Does she have a family, a husband? What does the community say about her? Any journalist would have asked these questions and got an answer. But we did not see that. I'm sure the chief only had one line in a 470-something word story. I almost shed a tear and said, where was the editor who looked at this story and passed this story? The winning story is almost on the same subject. But the reporter went out and answered all these questions that I asked. Just the difference between a well-edited story and a story that was just passed for publication without editorial intervention. So, the point that I want to leave you with is, it's important when we enter stories for editors to actually think about the stories that reporters are going to enter. Because there's something called editorial pride, which used to be the guiding light for us when we were younger journalists and also younger editors. It's saying a story has been published and I'm proud of the effort that I've put in as a reporter and the effort that I've put in as an editor. And I'm sure if we can do that, next year we will have much better entries in all categories. So I think on behalf of the adjudicators, my sister Violet, please stand up so that people see that there were judges in this competition. And our other fellow judge, Metu Sedemoyo, from NASA, unfortunately, he couldn't make it today because of exams and other commitments. We want to thank the sponsors for underwriting this NJAMA and staying faithful. I saw some of the sponsors last year, they are back here again. And as we look at that, we should give them a good return for their investment in you. As John Maxwell says, he says, competition is a powerful teacher that reveals strength and exposes weaknesses. I have spoken about our weaknesses. There were also major strengths in this competition. We try again next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that journalist report. We appreciate to all the journalists out there. There is a challenge for us. To all the media houses out there, there is a challenge for us as the 2024-2025 NJAMA awards will be coming soon. We need to have more entries. Tipe majaji basi. Vanyato wanataka to judge on. A moment that all of us, we have been waiting for. This is a night where most journalists will be saying, I am looking forward to walking away with an award that will recognize me as a special journalist, that will also recognize me for my talent. And that is what we are getting to right now. But at this moment in time, please allow me to, it's not reading, it's just shuffling. Thank you. Because the sponsor would like to attend to other commitments later on this evening. So we are going to slightly take category 5 to be our category 1, so that we allow them to make their time for other commitments. At this point in time, we are now getting into the category to honor the outstanding journalists in Zimbabwean media. And with that, we are going to start with the Yasser Arafat Journalist of the Year category. Award is sponsored by the Palestinian Embassy. Please give your hands together for His Excellency Ambassador Zanu PF. Thank you. And let me also call upon the Zimbabwe Union of Journalists Secretary General, Mr. Perfect Flowani, to come through and help us in handing over the awards in the Yasser Arafat Journalist of the Year category. Okay. I've just been also informed that our guest of honor, so apologies, our Swedish ambassador, His Excellency Per Lindegard, to also come through. Thank you. In all these 29 categories that we have, our runners-up, most of them are not here, but they will be getting their certificates through the Zurich offices. But those who are there, feel free to come through and collect your certificates. And with that, in the Yasser Arafat Journalist of the Year category, our runner is Peter Tanyaniwa, Zim Papers Digital. Okay. If he is not in, please inform him to come through to the Zurich offices. Thank you so much. Let's go for our winner's citation. Thank you.
Arafat Journalist of the Year category, award sponsored by the Palestinian Embassy. Named after Yasser Arafat, the man who became the face of Palestinian Liberation Organization and the struggle for Palestinian autonomy in Zimbabwe. This award goes to the journalists who did the most to highlight the plight of the people of Palestine. The winning story details how two early events on opposite sides of the globe, defining struggles for freedom and equality for generations, happened in 1948. In South Africa, apartheid was officially instituted, while in the Middle East, the State of Israel was created, leading the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians. For Southern Africa, that was struggling against colonialism. The Palestinian struggle became theirs too, till this day.
And the winner of the Yasser Arafat Journalist of the Year category is Tendai Makaribe, freelance. Congratulations to Tendai Makaribe, the winner of the Yasser Arafat Journalist of the Year category. And with that, he is walking away with the certificates and prize money of $600 US. Thank you very much, Honorable Ambassador Tama Almasri, representing the Palestinian Embassy for the Yasser Arafat Journalist of the Year category. Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank Zush for their efforts and this annual ceremony. this is actually the fourth year that the Palestinian Embassy participate with you, and inshallah we will continue. You know, nowadays, I know that we have many categories, and I understand that everyone is excited to know what is the next step. But I want to mention that until this moment, and as my colleague, the ambassador of Sweden, mentioned in his speech about the journalists who were killed in the Middle East. Unfortunately, Your Excellency, Israel killed until now 174 journalists. They were killed in 1 year, and this is the biggest number of journalists who were killed in any conflict in the world since the establishment of the United Nations in 1945. We want to say together that the media and journalism is not a crime. All journalists should be free to broadcast and to cover what is happening everywhere. But actually, this is what the colonial powers and the occupation power represented by the apartheid state of Israel refused. I want to thank you for your solidarity and support. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency Tama Al-Masri, the Palestinian ambassador. And thank you so much as well to the Swedish ambassador, His Excellency Pierre Lindegaard. Thank you very much. Okay, so that was the only shuffle that we had in this category because the ambassador would like to attend to other commitments. We are now getting into our category number 1 of the NJAMA 2023-2024 Awards. Legal and Parliamentary Journalist of the Year category. The award is sponsored by Matsikidze Attorneys at Law. May I call upon Dr. Rogers Matsikidze from the Matsikidze Attorneys at Law to come and help us present this award together with our Secretary General of the Zimbabwe Union of Journalists. Thank you. Let me ask you to come with this. Thank you. And the runner-up in this category is Tendai Chara Zimbabwe's Sunday Mail. If he's around, please come through. Let's move on to the winner citation of the Legal and Parliamentary Journalist of the Year category.
Legal and Parliamentary Journalist of the Year category. Award sponsored by Matsikidze Attorneys at Law. Under the series, Most Wanted, the winning entry is a follow-up of the gruesome murder of Tapiwa Makone by his uncle and namesake, Tapiwa Makone Sr. and his gardener Tafadzwa Shamba. Using graphics, videos, text, witness accounts, file footage, and narration, the story details how Tapiwa's body parts were cooked and eaten while the head was never located. From the village, the chief, the police, the story shifts to the High Court, where the remorseless Chamba and his employer are pronounced guilty and given the ultimate sentence, death by hanging. However, justice has failed to bring closure to Tapiwa's parents, who continue to solemnly pray for the convicts to at least tell us where the head of our child is before they are hanged.
And the winner in the Legal and Parliamentary Journalist of the Year category, double impacts. Morris Mukwate and Robert Mukwatiwa. Congratulations. Morris Mukwate and Robert Mukwatiwa. Walking away with your certificates and Samsung tablets. Thank you very much, Dr. Rogers Matsikidze, for sponsoring the Legal and Parliamentary Journalists of the Year category. A big round of applause. Our category number 2, Climate Change Journalist of the Year category. Award is sponsored by Mashwede Holdings. Let me call upon the director of Mashwede Holdings, Mr. Alex Bashamanda, if he is here or represented. We will ask our Secretary General, Mr. Tobani, to present the award. And the runner-up is Nathan Guma. Congratulations. And the winner's citation for the Climate Change Journalist of the Year category.
Climate Change Journalist of the Year category. Award sponsored by Mashwede Holdings. The winning story traces the climate change cycle and how it is negatively impacting community livelihoods. When people hear about the decreasing Kariba water levels, they quickly relate it to hydropower generation in the country. But this report highlights that there are many more effects and impacts, especially for communities living along the Zambezi. The story highlights how fishing grounds have become less and less, affecting the major livelihoods option for the local community. Human and wildlife conflict is also fueled when there are water challenges in these areas.
And the winner in the Climate Change Journalist of the Year category is Wilson Kapurida, Zimbabwe's Zimbabwe Television Network 60 years. Walking the bill with his certificates and $700 US. Thank you. Our Secretary General will receive that on his behalf. Thank you. Let's move on to our third category, Environment Journalist of the Year category. The award is sponsored by Environmental Management Agents, NJAMA. It will be presented by Miss Amikela Sidange, Environmental Education and Publicity Manager. If she is there, a big round of applause. Thank you for sponsoring the Environmental Journalist of the Year category. And the runner-up is Calvin Manika, freelance for Al Jazeera. A big round of applause for our runner-up. And here is the winner's citation for the Environment Journalist of the Year category.
Environment Journalist of the Year category. Award sponsored by the Environmental Management Agency, NJAMA. The winning article tells the story of Reverend Zanu PF that can potentially lead to extreme land degradation as people construct their homes. The article aptly puts it across that ignorance about the environmental consequences of certain actions or practices can lead individuals, businesses, and governments to engage in activities that compromise the integrity of the environment without realizing their impact.
And the winner for the Environment Journalist of the Year category is Mobile Pili, Simpepas Chronicle, and walks away with the certificates and $700 US. Congratulations. Congratulations to you, Mobile Chile, Simpepas Chronicle, for winning the Environment Journalist of the Year category. Our fourth category Photography and Visuals Journalist of the Year category, sponsored by the Zimbabwe Union of Journalists. The award to be presented by Mr. Tamani Timba, who is the Food Treasury General. Then the runner-up is Lovejoy Mutumbiza, freelance. Congratulations, Lovejoy, for being the runner-up in the Photography and Visual Journalist of the Year category. Thank you so much, Lovejoy. Against the women's citation for the Photography and Visuals Journalist of the Year category.
Photography and Visuals Journalist of the Year category, award sponsored by the Zimbabwe Union of Journalists, ZUJ. The setting is the drought-ravaged Chiwenga district in a sequence of photographs and in a typical picture-telling 1,000-word scenario. The photojournalists used their camera to show how the El Nino-induced drought has ravaged the land, leaving rivers dry, the cattle rendered skeletons, and women in the villages scrounging for water. The picture story also says to give a face to the communities most affected.
And the winner for the Photography and Visuals Journalist of the Year category goes on to Aaron Ufumeli, your certificate plus 18,480 Zimbabwe bonds in a hammer. And remember, all these awards as they come in their monetary values, we are just giving out the monetary value as donated by the sponsor. If the sponsor donated towards a certain category in US dollars, it is related to the winner in that currency. If it was in Zimbabwe bonds, it is related in that currency as well. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Tamani Timba, our Secretary, our Zimbabwe Union of Journalists, Treasury General. Our 60th category, Local Tourism Journalist of the Year category, is sponsored by Rainbow Tourism Group, RTG, to be presented by Mr. Ishe Anesu Makambia, Digital Transformation Officer from RTG. A big round of applause for our sponsor and its group. And the runner-up in this category is from Alpha Media Holdings AMH, Mutandazo Nyoni. Congratulations, Mutandazo Nyoni from Alpha Media Holdings for being the runner-up in the Local Tourism Journalist of the Year category. A big round of applause for Mutandazo. And here is our winner citation for the Local Tourism Journalist of the Year category.
Local Tourism Journalist of the Year category, award sponsored by Rainbow Tourism Group. The winning story is a profile piece on two gentlemen who had managed to change the face of a former dancer in the high-density suburb of Highfield. The story of Wonderland Gardens is a typical trace to treasure story, fueled by commitment by members of the community to find the beauty in the neglected parts of their residential areas and integrating recycling initiatives into the beautification process. What makes this a local tourism story is how it has become an attraction to people from other suburbs who now find it as an ideal recreational facility where they can rest within the beauty of nature. Local tourism is not just about people visiting famous places and resorts and spending huge amounts of money, but it is about unlocking the value of our own backyard and creating an environment that people can explore and enjoy. The local journalists managed to profile this gem and its people who have harnessed the simplicity of local tourism.
And the winner in the local tourism journalist of the year category is Ivan Chabata. The number is significant and 26,400 Zimbabwean dollars. Ivan Chabata from Timba Herald for winning the local tourism journalist of the year category. Congratulations to you, Ivan, and thank you so much as well, Mr. Ishani Sumakambila, Digital Transformation Officer from Rainbow Tourism Group. Our second category is the Sogi Journalist of the Year category, sponsored by girls. Award to be presented by Mr. Sylvester Nyamateneza, the program's officer. A big round of applause for our sponsor. And here is the winner's citation.
Soji Journalist of the Year category, award sponsored by girls. This is a subject that most in the country would rather not talk about or would talk about negatively, and that attitude seems to extend to the newsrooms. Few were the entries. The winning entry detailed the life of an athlete born with ambiguous genitalia in 1992 and their lifetime challenges due to societal expectations. Being raised like a girl, but discovering herself as a boy. An exceptional performance during a Negro match caused her to be ordered to strip naked in front of her peers to prove a gender. She refused and ran away. This was the turning point in her life. She later transitioned to living as a man, and Yvonne is now Lakwashe, an advocate for intersex rights and the redocumentation of intersex individuals on national IDs and passports.
As if you have been through my papers. Congratulations, the winner is Cindy So Jure, out of India Holdings. Certificates and $1,000 US. Thank you and congratulations to Cindy So Jure from out of India Holdings. Thank you very much, Mr. Sylvester Nyamateneza, the program's officer from Girls, for sponsoring this category. Our eighth category is the Early Childhood Development ECT Journalist of the Year category. The award is sponsored by the Zimbabwe Network of Early Childhood Development. And the award is to be presented by Miss Marceline Kahari. I hope I got it right. The representative is Nyamuzai to present this award. And the runner-up in this category is from Manika Post District Papers, Tendai Kukutikwa. And here is the winner's citation.
Early Childhood Development ECD Journalist of the Year category. Award sponsored by the Zimbabwe Network of Early Childhood Development. The winning article tackles an important but rarely talked about issue of adults oversharing their children's lives online, especially on social media. The article addresses the fact that while parents view this as a way of connecting with their children, it impinges on children's rights to consent and privacy, and the potential risk of kidnapping, bullying, and harassment, which affect the children in the long term as the world continually grows into one big global village and the internet is connecting all of us. This article reminds us that we need to be careful of the lifestyles we choose to adopt.
And the winner is Calvin Manika, a freelance, walking away with his certificate and $1,000 US. Congratulations to Calvin Manika for being the winner in the Early Childhood Development Journalist of the Year category. Congratulations, Makorokoto Antoke. And thank you very much to our sponsor, the Zimbabwe Network of Early Childhood Development. We move on to category 9. Internews train the female journalist of the year category, sponsored by Internews, to be presented by Mr. Chiwenga Musitini, the country director. A big round of applause for Mr. Musitini. And the runner-up in this category is Harriet Chikandiwa from Alpha Media Holdings AMH. And here is the winner's citation.
Internews Trained Female Journalist of the Year category, award sponsored by Internews. This winning story traced the trends in child mortality cases at Imperial Central Hospital in Bulawayo, following up on reassurances from the Ministry of Health and Child Care that it was doing everything to address challenges related to maternal health. The story is detailed in explaining trends related to child mortality, showing that the journalists invested time and energy into producing comprehensive report to explain a situation that is affecting the community. The story is well balanced, quoting experts in the medical field that still want to communicate in a simple language that can be understood by all.
And the winner in the Internews playing the female journalist of the year category is Lulu Brenda Harris from Titan. Congratulations. Prize money of $650 US. Congratulations and a big thank you to our sponsor,
for interviews. Thank you. Our 10th category, multimedia journalists of the year category. Award sponsored by Zimbabwe newspapers. Represented by Mr. Munyarabi Hateri, the general manager. The runner-up in this category is Tamuka Tarakupa from ZPC. In representing the award is my very own boss. Personally, Mera to Conde Manager Capital 104 FM. That is that. Here is the winner citation.
Multimedia journalist of the year category. Award sponsored by Zimbabwe newspapers 1980 Limited. While many activities have brought income to the local communities, in some instances, they have also brought legally for women living in the vicinities of the mining areas in the form of rape, displacement, physical violence, and other forms of abuse. Using video, voice, and text, the Women Peace gives witnesses accounts of abuse at the hands of artisanal miners in the Bear Chinese bosses in Mochoko. Not only women are being targeted, but children have also been raped. HIV and other sexually transmitted diseases and abandonment of the male partners are the order of the day.
If you had known, you were just supposed to be standing here. Not going to complete that 53 times. Congratulations. You have held up a hamper and prize money of 1,120 Zimbabwe dollars. Congratulations, but you will not be able to read our 263 cards and winning the multimedia journalist of the year category. Sponsored by Timba. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, personally. Now you are the reason of Chiwenga that some of us are not Alright, we move on to our next category. Renewable Energy Journalist of the Year category, sponsored by the Zimbabwe Energy Regulatory Authority, ZERA. Represented by Miss Lindy Nyoni, Communications Officer from ZERA. And the runner-up, Mobile Chile, Zimbabwe's Chronicle. Congratulations, Mobile, for being the runner-up in the Renewable Energy Journalist of the Year category. And here is the winner's citation.
Energy Journalist of the Year category. Award sponsored by Zimbabwe Energy Regulatory Authority, ZERA. The winning article details how climate change has prompted Zimbabwe to transition from hydropower to thermal energy with significant investments in coal mining and power generation. The article is written based on the discussion at the International Renewable Energy Conference held this year, which highlighted strategies for navigating energy market challenges, with Zimbabwe witnessing an 80.7% increase in coal investments between 2021 and 2022. This trend means that the country is moving backward progress in its efforts to transition to a more sustainable energy future. This story points us in the direction of reflecting on the country's position in terms of attaining the sustainable development goals.
And the winner is walking away with 26,400 Zimbabwe gold. From Alpha Media AMH, Chiwenga. Congratulations, Chiwenga from Alpha Media Holdings for being a winner in the Renewable Energy Journalist of the Year category, sponsored by the Zimbabwe Energy Regulatory Authority, ZERA. Makoto Unfloated. Thank you very much. Ms. Lee, Communications Officer from ZERA, for sponsoring this category. Our next category is Health Journalist of the Year category, sponsored by Siemens Health Group, to be presented by Mr. Vumi Mpofu, the Chief Executive Officer or representative from Siemens Health Group. And the runner-up in this category is Catherine Mawiakufa, a freelance. Catherine Mawiakufa, a freelance, a runner-up in the Health Journalist of the Year category. And here is the citation for the winner.
Journalists of the Year category, award sponsored by Siemens Health Group. The winning story profiles a woman's journey with a serious health condition that was treated by Zimbabwe's only female cardiothoracic surgeon, Dr. Kubai Kamwepi. The successful operation is presented as evidence of the medical strides being taken in Zimbabwe. All of the story is outlined in context of the 12 successful open heart surgeries that were conducted at the Aminiata group of hospitals. Such attitudes led to restore citizen strength in the country's medical facilities and resources.
And the winner in the Health Journalist of the Year category is Vanessa Bonye, Alpha Media Holdings. Prize money of 1,000 US dollars. Congratulations, Vanessa Bonye, Alpha Media Holdings, for winning the Health Journalist of the Year category. Thank you very much and congratulations, and we also want to say thank you very much to Siemens Health Group. Thank you so much, Our next category is the Sports Journalist of the Year category, sponsored by Multi Choice Zimbabwe, to be presented by Mrs. Charity Tambambini, Corporate Affairs and Public Relations Specialist. And the runner-up in this category of Sports Journalist of the Year category goes to Lawrence Mandienje, Soccer 24. And here is the winner's citation.
Sports Journalists of the Year category, award sponsored by Multi-Choice Zimbabwe. Sport, especially football, is the favorite of most people because it brings entertainment, pride, and even identity. Yet there are some in our communities and families who cannot take part in sport only because we exclude them or they exclude themselves because they live with disabilities. The women entry chronicles how each delivers the leader to a team of parents with a shared passion for sport and experience of disability have come together to form a team like no other. The entry is Be Like No Other, founded last year by Annie's Tarot, 29, Chiwenga Great Multi-Sports Club, which owns Great Panther Football Team and Silent Striker Labor, is taking a lot of attractive attention from the community, sponsors, and the NJAMA.
And the winner for the Sports Journalist of the Year category goes to Admiral Zanu Our family arrivals, a handout from ESTV and 26,400 Congratulations, Admire. For winning the Sports Journalist of the Year category, and we can do it to multiple Zimbabwe for sponsoring this category. Our next category, Mining Journalist of the Year category, sponsored by Simplats, represented by Mr. Hamma Saburi, the Corporate Affairs Manager. The Mining Journalist of the Year category, sponsored by Simplats, and is walking to the podium. Here is the winner's citation.
Journalist of the Year category, award sponsored by Zebras. Mining accounts for 12% of Zimbabwe's gross domestic product and 80% of national exports. It contributes 20% of government revenue. It employs 38,000 Zimbabweans officially and another 500,000 as artisanal miners. The winner in this category cited several challenges requiring urgent attention in order to inject additional value in our economy. These include unsettlement tax regime, power supply challenges, capital constraints, foreign currency shortages, high production costs. The latter did not only recover problems, but also offers opportunities and solutions.
And the winner in the Mining Journalist of the Year category is Mtanda Zonyoni, Alpha Media Holdings. Prize money of 39,600 Zimbabwe gold. Thank you very much and congratulations to you, Mtanda Zonyoni. A big thank you to Zimplats, Mr. Hamma Saburi, the Corporate Affairs Manager, for presenting this award. Let me at this point in time also take an opportunity to thank our Secretary General, Mr. Perfect Ferrari, for presenting our first 14 categories. Let me at this point in time to call upon our guest of honor, Dr. Ayodele Odusola, UN Representative and Humanitarian Coordinator at Britain and UNDP Britain representative to help us in presenting the next categories. Doctor. Our next category is Data Journalist of the Year category, sponsored by International Media Support IMS, to be presented by our guest of honor as well as Ms. Simbiso Marinde, Programs Manager, Team Let's, as well as Swedish Ambassador, His Excellency Per Lindegard. As the coming our runner-up in this category is Evans Matanda, Alpha Media Holdings. And here is the winner citation.
Journalist of the Year category, award sponsored by the International Media Support (IMS). The writer uses data to illustrate Iran's housing heavily. Iran metropolitan is home to 2,427,209 people. Also, the 2022 census, an increase of 15.6% on the 2012 census figure of 2,098,199. Using data, the story notes that Canada has 370,000 housing units and needs 194,436 units for each population to fit comfortably, but delivery of housing falls far short.
And the winner in the Data Journalist of the Year category is walking away with $1,000 US. Tawanda Msaruwa, Green Papers, Sunday Mail. Congratulations to Tawanda Msaruwa, Green Papers, Sunday Mail, for winning the Data Journalist of the Year category. Thank you and congratulations. Our next category, the Gender and Social Inclusion Journalist of the Year category, sponsored by International Media Support (IMS), to be presented by our guest of honor, together with the Swedish ambassador, as well as Mr. Simbiso Marinde. The runner-up is Nathan Guma. And here is the winner citation.
Gender and Social Inclusion Journalist of the Year category, award sponsored by the International Media Support (IMS). Traditional leadership in Zimbabwe is primarily reserved for men due to the predominant tradition of passing chieftaincy through male children. Women in these locally important and legally recognized political institutions are therefore overshadowed, and little is known about their experiences. This human story is a typical breaking the mold piece that recalls the heroism of a woman, chiefly found in reviving the feminist chieftainship that had been devoted to heaven centuries by the colonial government. At 80 years, chiefly found only wanted to demonstrate to the male members of the family that their feminist leadership role can be reclaimed.
And the winner for the Gender and Social Inclusion Journalist of the Year category is walking away with $1,000 US. And the winner is Mukulumi Yube, Unicorn Green Papers. Oh, that's it. You start talking about it before he even spoke about it. He knew the citation is on my phone. Ah, it's making this now. Okay. Congratulations to you, Mukulumi Yube, for winning the Gender and Social Inclusion Journalist of the Year category, sponsored by International Media Support (IMS), supported by the Swedish Embassy. Our next category is Community Engagement and Rural Development Journalist of the Year category, sponsored by International Media Support (IMS), supported by the Swedish Embassy. And the runner-up is Suku Dube Matutu, Zimbabwe Chronicle. And here is the winner citation.
And the Rural Development Journalist of the Year category, award sponsored by the International Media Support (IMS). In this long story, the journalist managed to capture the attention of the reader with the very first words, classrooms, where our programs, the story, and numbers to tell the story of rural poverty or children have to walk long distances to get to school, a situation that exposes them to various social ills. Local arrangements of pre-boarding schools where girls had to sleep in classrooms were meant to ease the challenge, and this was not an ideal intervention. The story is centered on a powerful intervention of construction of hostels for girls to navigate the informal boarding facilities while providing the girl child with a safe environment to pursue their education. The story was well balanced, giving the voices of the affected, while highlighting that with the proper community engagement, various sectors can identify areas of need and provide the necessary interventions that drive rural development.
You know your story, take it to the next topic. Congratulations to you, Sharon, for the Alta Media Holdings. Prize money of $1,000 for leading the community engagement and rural development journalist of the year category. Congratulations to Sharon Asidi from Alta Media Holdings. Congratulations, Sharon. Our next category is Municipal and Service Delivery Journalist of the Year category, sponsored by International Media Support, supported by the Swedish Embassy. The runner-up is Muchameta Chimuka Timba Spider. And here is the winner's citation.
Service Delivery Journalist of the Year category, award sponsored by the International Media Support (IMS). Is a working business in the area of service or a leading stream, the leading country say they just want to use, along with vouchers, simply handling skill shop. The story analyzes how the vouchers were ended with a $90 million coffee business in Norway, and detailed how the coffee model was a benefit to the council and thus therefore be left uninterrupted by those looking for any Christmas present.
$1,000 from Alta Media Holdings, no money flow through. Congratulations for winning the Municipal and Service Delivery Journalist of the Year. $1,000 for you know. Congratulations to you. Congratulations. Our next category is Government and Elections Journalist of the Year category, sponsored by the International Media Support (IMS), supported by the Swedish Embassy. The runner-up is Nathan Kuma Newsbox. And here is the winner's citation.
And Elections Journalist of the Year category, award sponsored by the International Media Support (IMS). The winner in this category confronted the pain and anguish brought by election-related political violence, reliving the experiences of a family that lost their loved one in the run-up to the December 9, 2023 by-election in Mozambique, Harare. The story brought to the fore the dire effects of political violence in the country.
You know, when you write so many stories about this, you might end up forgetting, did I write this or not? Take it to the red carpet yourself. Congratulations to you, Ruby Momuchenje. Move off. Congratulations, Mamuno Mozo and Lopez. Thank you very much for presenting these awards, Miss Simbiso Maribe, as well as Your Excellency, Mr. Chabata. I'm telling you that, thank you. Our next category, Maternal Health Journalist of the Year category. Award is sponsored by the United Nations Population Funds, UNFPA, presented by Ms. Miranda Sapito, UNFPA country representative.
Master of ceremony.
Thank you.
It's too monotonous. The routine has to change in terms of the music in the background when it comes to mathematics. Can we change the music? Can we change the music? Change the music. Change the music. Change the music.
Thank you.
Welcome.
This category is the Maternal Health Journalist of the Year category, sponsored by United Nations Population Funds, UNFPA, to be presented by Ms. Miranda Tabifo, UNFPA country representative. The runner-up is Lulu Brenda Harris from Saiti. Congratulations for being the runner-up, Lulu Brenda. Congratulations. And here's the winner's citation.
Maternal Health Journalist of the Year category, award sponsored by United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA. The winning story profiles the life of the 71-year-old woman who has lived for over 4 decades with a condition many women suffer after childbirth, obstetric fistula. In telling this story and giving a face and name to it, the journalist manages to communicate how the condition is real and common and how it can turn women living with it into lone and isolated figures in the communities due to the stigma and discrimination that they face. The journalist does a good job of providing statistics on how many women are affected globally, whilst also bringing it home the national statistics which makes to demystify the condition. The happy ending of the subject's story, which is now living a healthier life after getting corrective surgery for the condition, encourages other women not to suffer in silence with a condition that is treatable.
And the winner in the Maternal Health Journalist of the Year category is from Alpha Media Holdings. You know that's all for Congratulations, 1,000 US dollars. Congratulations, Vanessa Oye. Our next category, Gender-Based Violence Journalist of the Year, sponsored by United Nations Population Funds. The runner-up is Suku Dube Matutu, Zimbabwe's Chronicle. And here is the winner's citation.
Gender-Based Violence Journalist of the Year category, award sponsored by the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA. The winning story is a horrid report on the sexual abuse suffered by a mentally challenged lady throughout her lifetime. Read at a tender age, she is faced with the same abuse again decades later, and she got pregnant and gave birth to a child that she is incapable of taking care of. This story exposes the horror of gender-based violence in general, but shines the spotlight on the dimension of gender-based violence on people living with disabilities, who are the most vulnerable group, especially in cases where they cannot communicate effectively enough to report their cases to the relevant authorities.
And the winner is Providence Maranelli from ZPC. 1,000 US dollars. Congratulations, Providence Maranelli from ZPC for winning the Gender-Based Violence Journalist of the Year. Thank you very much, Ms. Binada Tapi for UNFP country representative. Our next category is Anti-Corruption Journalist of the Year category, sponsored by Transparency International Zimbabwe TIZ, to be presented by Mr. Muvani Chabangu, Head of Programs. Yes, he's coming through. The runner-up in this category is Gibson Maka, Zimbabwe's Chronicle. And here is the winner's citation.
Anti-Corruption Journalist of the Year category, award sponsored by Transparency International Zimbabwe, TIZ. Corruption is a cancer that must be fought from all angles. In a series of articles citing criminal land cartels, human trafficking, and other ills, the award goes to a journalist who dedicated his or her pen to this noble fight in a diligent, in-depth, and consistent manner without fear or favor.
And the winner is walking away with 1,000 US dollars. Moses Mukubunyeki out of the Congratulations, Moses Mukubunyeki, for being the Anti-Corruption Journalist of the Year category. 1,000 US dollars. Congratulations. Thank you very much, Mr. Zanu PF programs from Transparency International Zimbabwe for presenting that award. Thank you. Our next category is Financial Journalist of the Year, category sponsored by Switch. To be presented by Mr. Zabron Chilakalaga, Chief Executive Officer or representative from Switch. Yes, they are coming through. The runner-up is Tawanda Musarumwa, Papers Sunday Mail. Tawanda Musarumwa, Papers Sunday Mail, the runner-up in the Financial Journalist of the Year category. Congratulations to you, Chabata. And here is the winner citation.
Financial Journalist of the Year category, award sponsored by Switch. Zimbabwe businesses, especially small to medium scale enterprises, face financial challenges. The winning entry explores how factoring could be a game changer for SMEs to access cheap immediate capital by selling their accounts receivable to a paid party to alleviate cash flow and fuel growth. This way, they can unlock vital funds to meet operational costs, invest in expansion, and bolster competitiveness.
And the winner for the Financial Journalist of the Year is Ntanda Sonyoni, Alpha Media Holdings. Prize money of 18,480 Zimbabwe gold. Congratulations, Ntanda Sonyoni, for winning the Financial Journalist of the Year category, sponsored by Switch. Our next category is Business Reporter of the Year, sponsored by DABS, to be presented by Mr. Innocent Chuma or representatives from DABS. The runner-up is from Papers Chronicle, Skulekani Moyo. And here is the winner citation.
Business Journalist of the Year category, award sponsored by DABS. Everything that we do or hustle to get an income is a business. We mostly need cash to establish or run our business or hustles. The winning entry interrogates if the grants of the occasional lender is a community service or loan sharking. The reporter went underground into the world of loan sharking, unearthing 79 lenders listed under the country's largest advertising site. The lenders demanded vehicles and household property as collateral for loans up to $10,000 with interest rates paid between 17 and 18% per month. Regrettably, most of the lenders are unregistered and therefore illegal, but the liquidity crunch pushes businesses and individuals to take their loans. Trouble happens when the sharks quickly escalate interest rates or use aggressive debt collection measures that may cause more financial ruin and emotional stress. Does the story sound familiar?
This is a question to you, Tatira, Chiwenga, Alpha Media. Does the story sound familiar? Congratulations for winning the Business Reporter of the Year. 18,480 Zimbabwe bonds prize money. Congratulations. Our next category is Information and Communication Technology Journalist of the Year. Awards sponsored by Potras, to be presented by Mrs. Nyamutswa, Director Legal or representative from Portras. The runner-up is Silence Mugazaweta, Alpha Media Holdings. And here is the winner citation.
Information and Communication Technology Journalist of the Year category, award sponsored by Portraits. Technology has made life smarter and easier, even in the fight against gender-based violence. The winner in this category wrote about how smartphones help to fight GBV crime in Zanu. The story opens with an anecdote how in July 2024, a video exposed the brutal assault of 18-year-old Mavis mother by 5 female teenagers in Wenza, Mashunaland, East Poland. The perpetrators were arrested after the video went viral. The story explains how the portability and affordability of smartphones has come in handy for victims and witnesses of GBV and other crimes to capture evidence for successful prosecution of offenders.
And the winner for the Information and Communication Technology Journalist of the Year Award goes out to Problem Masaru Alpha Media Holdings. 1,000 grace for that. Congratulations, Problem Masaru Alpha Media Holdings for winning the Information and Communication Technology Journalist of the Year, sponsored by Portras. Our next category, Arts and Entertainment Journalist of the Year, sponsored by Delta Corporation, to be presented by Miss Patricia Marambinda, General Manager Corporate Affairs or representative from Delta Corporation. The runner-up is Admired Kamunda for Alpha Media Holdings. Congratulations, Admired Kamunda for being the runner-up in the Arts and Entertainment Journalist of the Year category. And here is the winner citation.
Arts and Entertainment Journalist of the Year category, award sponsored by Delta Corporation. The winning entry consists of a series of reports unearthing unknown and new talents from the peripheries of Marginalized South. The reportage exhibits a keen eye for news and identification of artistic talent. The entry's eloquence also reveals understanding and a deep passion for the subject reported on. Your future as the social community and usually marginalized rural communities a chance to be known and explore their talent.
Congratulations to you, President Marginalized. Prize money of $1,500 US. Congratulations to Providence Maranelli from ZBC for winning the Arts and Entertainment Journalist of the Year category. Thank you so much as well to Miss Patricia Marambinda, General Manager Corporate Affairs, Delta Corporation. Thank you for sponsoring this category. Our next category is Agriculture Journalist of the Year category. Award sponsored by Tongat Unit, to be presented by Mrs. Eninia Kunu, Communications Manager, Corporate and Industry Affairs or representative. And the runner-up, I just want to say to the runner-up, you look at my friend and all mother for your certificates. Adnan Jamundabo, our runner-up in the Agriculture Journalist of the Year. Congratulations, Adnan Jamundabo. The runner-up in the Agriculture Journalist of the Year. And here is the winner's citation.
Agriculture Journalist of the Year category, award sponsored by Unit. Southwestern Zimbabwe, Mozambique South Province in particular, is known for perennial drought. It is a province where only livestock and perhaps small grains production produces results. However, a group of farmers in Marula in the Mozambique district have pioneered the production of tobacco, a crop previously dependent on farmers in the high rainfall mature provinces. But farmers in Srinivale Farm in Marula are determined to make history by producing the golden leaf and face for the problems.
And the winner is walking away with $1,500 US. Raymond Chabata, Timba for winning the Agriculture Journalist of the Year. Congratulations, Raymond Chabata, Timba for winning the Agriculture Journalist of the Year award. Thank you very much. This is Eninia Kulo, Communications Manager, Corporate and Industry Affairs Soccer Unit, for sponsoring this award. Our next category is the Female Journalist of the Year category, sponsored by Zimbabwe Union of Journalists, Zurich. Award to be presented by SG Secretary General, Mr. Perfect Flowani, together with our guest of honor. And here's the winner's citation.
Female Journalist of the Year category, award sponsored by the Zimbabwe Union of Journalists, Zurich. This female journalist was assessed and awarded on consistency in tackling financial and business issues through her radio programs. Her efforts to research on a topic is evident in the flow of discussion one experiences in her programming. She demonstrates how she has kept the niche in reporting on matters that are usually shunned by female journalists, managing to get the relevant voices to speak on topical issues. For this award, the journalist was also assessed on the consistency in reporting financial and business issues.
Hey, what's up, Mo? Our unit. Congratulations, Monica Chiwenga from BTC Class 263. Congratulations, Monica Chiwenga, for being the Female Journalist of the Year. Congratulations, Monica Chiwenga from the BTC Class 263 for winning the Female Journalist of the Year award, sponsored by the Zimbabwe Union of Journalists. Congratulations. You're already in your Last but not least, category number 29. News Journalist of the Year category sponsored by the Zimbabwe National Road Administration, Sinara. Awards represented by Mrs. Fungi Manyeza, Head of Corporate Communications and Marketing or representative from Sinara. Congratulations to our runner-up, Robert Mukondiwa, Timba's ZTN. Robert Mukondiwa, Timba's ZTN. And here's the winner's citation.
Journalists of the Year category, award sponsored by the Zimbabwe National Road Administration, Zinara. Indeed, the winning story is stranger than fiction. It has the ultimate formula of news, audit. It takes a journalist who is observant, inquisitive, and has deep interest to conceptualize a news story about a vagabond's journey to the unknown. The vagabond's name and destination are unknown, even to the reporter apparently. But the story of his journey, presumably from South Africa to Zimbabwe, by foot, was delivered to audiences in dexterity and exclusivity, using video, voice and text from the peripheries of Nigeria side. The reporter delivers the vagabond's journey to our screens throughout Zimbabwe.
In this luminous world, some stories are stranger than fiction, yet so real that our eyes of the flesh can see. There is a man on a journey along the Bay Flower Highway, and the biggest question whose answer has eluded everyone we are scared to ask is where this man is going. The SABC News has been closely following this man who appears to be in his early 30s for the past 3 months after noticing a heap of bags on the roadside in Johnson area, 50 kilometers outside Kona town in July this year. What drew our attention to this man who in the eyes of everyone is a vagabond is that he only travels during the day, and maybe because of the nature of the luggage, he does 2 trips from where he would have slept in the night to the next spot. Now, after our first encounter, he is now in Esigotini, some 130 kilometers away from Johnson. As we sat with him for a chat in Esigotini this week, he says he can't remember the day he left Pietro Tiff town in South Africa, but he's on his way home.
So usuka South Africa?
Yeah.
Usugeni in South Africa?
Motorists who claim to have offered him transport suspect that the man might have stolen the luggage and the owners instructed him to bring it home or he's under some dark spell. We'll never know. But one thing that our eyes can see is that the distance that he has traveled is beyond what a person born of a woman can do. After all, life has odd sectors within it that mortal beings cannot comprehend. Providence, my lady, is a
26,400 Zimbabwe gold prize money, sponsored by Zimbabwe National Road Administration, Sinara, presented by Mrs. Tsungi Manyeza, Head of Corporate Communications and Marketing from Sinara. And we also want to say thank you very much to our guest of honor, Dr. Ayodele Onsisola. Thank you very much. To all our winners tonight. Thank you to all the journalists who entered into the 2023-2024 NJAMA Awards. Those who did not make it up to the final list, defeat should never be a source of discouragement, but rather a fresh stimuli to you in everything that you are going to be doing. Let's go back to our newsrooms and up the game, and remember, it is great to be a journalist because our office is the world. At this point in time, let me call upon Mr. Taboni Dube, Zuj Treasury General, as well as our Secretary General, Mr. Perfect Flowani, Friends of the Media and Staff Appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you, Director of Ceremonies, for steering the program. So this year, we decided that we're going to introduce a new category, a new award. This award we call Friend of the Media Award. It is to recognize an organization or individual who would have assisted in terms of making sure that we improve the environment, working environment, especially for journalists and media practitioners in the country, develop relations, and we decided that we were going to encourage that kind of discourse between media players and different organizations. And we are going to award the organizations that did exactly that in the year from October 2023 to this time. And I will allow you to carry on. I just thought that I'll introduce this and put it into perspective so that we understand what it is that we are going to be awarding now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As we will be announcing those Friends of the Media, let me also take this opportunity to appreciate our sponsors: International Media Support, IMS, Swedish Embassy, MultiChoice Zimbabwe, Simas Health Group, Zenecta, EMA, Delta Corporation, Tonga Juliet, Dubs, Zimplats, Zeta, Zimswitch, UNF PA, Palestinian Embassy, Internews, Zinara, Portras, Rainbow Tourism Group, Mashwede Holdings, Zim Papers, Zimbabwe Union of Journalists, Matsiki Zeatoni, Gauss, Schweppes Holdings Africa Limited, and best of the best since 1961, Proton Bakers. And we are now getting into the category of that has just been spoken about by our Secretary General. I will leave this moment to Mr. Tabani Dube, Zimbabwe Union of Journalists, Treasury General.
Okay, good evening. Can you hear me? Yes, our Friends of the Media organization or institution is the Zimbabwe Republic Police. And I'm going to invite Commissioner Tonga to come to the floor to receive the chief of the institution.
Commissioner Ponyati. Friends of the Media Awards goes to Commissioner Ponyati. Friends of the media, Dr. Matsikize, congratulations. Thank you. I thought the camera people were just ready to come here. These are all my own. We want to appreciate for distinguished service to the union. This award is awarded to B. Mahaka. For distinguished service to the Union of Journalists. Congratulations, Mr. B. Mahaka. For distinguished service to the Union once again, congratulations to E. Matiko. Congratulations. Congratulations for your unwavering support to the union. Tikutasa. Service as a to the Zimbabwe Union of Journalists. Congratulations to you, J. Rukuni. Congratulations for all the efforts that you do to the union. And we now rewarding you for your excellence, El Chisho. Last but not least, all the time, congratulations to you, comrades. Perfect Florani.
for helping us in presenting all these awards is Zimbabwe Union of Journalists Pressure in general. Thank you so much. Let me at this point in time to call upon Tatenda Chitabu, Switch National Executive Member, to give us our closing remarks. Tatenda Chitabu, our Union of Journalists National Executive Member, for our closing remarks. Thank you.
A very good evening to you all. When all else has been said and done, I guess it's good to appreciate your gratitude. It's good to say thank you. And mine is just a very easy job to express our gratitude on behalf of the Zimbabwe Union of Journalists. And first of all, I want to appreciate your presence for gracing this occasion. I would also like to thank the contestants, the journalists who participated in the competition, because it's because of the journalists that we carry out these awards here. But most importantly, I would like to thank our sponsors. I'm not going to mention them all by name because they mentioned previously. But I would like to thank our traditional sponsors who have been with us over the years. And I would also like to thank the new sponsors that came on board to make the NJAMAs bigger and better. I thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tatenda Chitabu, Zunch National Executive Member. Yeah, we have come to an end of the night, but we also want to appreciate the media team, Garigaka Shoti, graphics and citations, Brian Muruma from Real Sounds, and Subara Shemarufu, DJ Testing, and